Bill, last time we did phobias. This time I want to go back through your allergy cure. You've got a whole book on it. If you go on the Bill's webpage, it's visual imagery, innovative and easy to learn techniques for allergies. So this time I'm going to play the victim of hay fever. You be the therapist. And we've done this in brief form on our blog. What I'd like to do now is go step by step how to cure hay fever or other symptomatic allergies. Let's just take hay fever, which is usually seasonal. It's often spring and fall, depending on pollen and dust and whatnot.
Any allergy would work, whether you touch yourself with a perfume or whether you sniff in some hay fever stuff or whether you swallow something that causes you a reaction. They're all allergic responses.
So this is a foreign substance triggering a bodily symptom.
It would be called a non-self entity to which you are allergic.
Right. Could it be a person?
Right.
Could it be another person?
Well, by golly, it could. It could be another person.
But in this, let's restrict it to substances.
Yeah, this
some
is
foreign
a substance.
Okay, okay. So lead off.
Yeah. So with you, Clifton, it occurs generally in the spring or the fall.
Both.
When there's pollen in the air, either when it's fresh or when it's loaded and getting the trees are dumping out.
Exactly.
Okay. So I'd like you to think of like a kid doing a cartoon, maybe like a Disney cartoon. I'd like you to think of what a child in 3 dimensions, in other words, size, everything, and color, what would one of those hay fever particles look like to a kid making a cartoon drawing of it?
Okay, I'm seeing a burr with a lot of little sharp points all around. It's a sphere with sticky, sharp points.
A sphere with sticky, sharp points. Good. Okay. So now I would like you to put that aside, and I would like you to think of a place that you are breathing in things that are very pleasant for you. You enjoy the odor, you enjoy the sensation. It may be in a snowy field, it may be the smell of the ocean, it might be whiffing a good steak or whatever, but there are particles in the air that you greatly enjoy.
It'd be on a mountain, a ski slope with light snow coming down.
Good. And how would you describe the odor of fresh mountain air and snow? What would those particles look like? Because there is an odor.
It would have a slight fir tree coolness to it. Very cool, very refreshing, but it's got a fir tree odor to it.
Good.
Also.
How would you describe those if you could draw them out?
Wow. Immediately comes to mind the beautiful shapes of snowflakes, all the different little lacy patterns of these tiny, enlarged up would be lacy patterns like snowflakes.
Good. Okay, so we've got those 2 things in mind. Now, I want you to do an imaginary thing. I want you to put imagination, a wall here, a thick plexiglass wall that protects you from anything you see on the other side of that wall.
I'm over here.
You're here, the wall's here,
right.
And I want you to see yourself over there surrounded by spherical, prickly bad things.
I'm in bad shape over there.
You're in bad shape.
I'm actually over there in my mind's eye.
But it can't bother you here because you're protected by this shield.
Okay.
See yourself over there having an allergic attack.
I'm sneezing.
See yourself there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Very clear.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're surrounded by the round pricklies. And at a little distance from you, you have a big supply of the snowflake, fir tree, snow-smelling things that are just wonderful. I would like you to somehow bring over to the self that you see over there suffering from hay fever, suffering from the pricklies. I'd like you to bring over, maybe it's like a little kid bringing sand buckets of all of these wonderful snowflake things. And purely imaginary, like a little child in a cartoon would, I'd like you to see yourself sprinkle or dump, or however you wanted to do it, throw all those snowflake things in the air, and as they settle around you, they completely cause to disappear all of those prickly, round, hay fever, bad things.
I took a bucket of those snowy things and put on a big fan and threw it up in the fan, and the fan blew across all of that over there.
Super. They completely disappear.
Mm-hmm.
They are no longer present to be of any problem to you. And if any of them were to come around, you've got all of these snowflake ones to dispel those things. Your example was a good one. Some people say it's like seeing a spoonful of sugar dissolve in hot water. It's no longer there. So you see that what was once a problem for you is dispelled completely by your snowflakes. So you see yourself over there now breathing happily and healthily, pleasantly, with snowflake, fir tree particles, and the pricklies are no longer present to give you any concern whatsoever. So you now lift up in your imagination the screen. And some people like to put a kind of a bubble around the person over there who is now breathing happily and healthily. And that bubble comes back with a light breeze back towards you. And just like two soap bubbles coalesce and become one, that successful, happy person no more allergy, becomes one with you over here in reality.
Now, that's all very clear in my imagination. In reality, those allergy partners come in, get into my airway, get absorbed into my bloodstream.
When you say in reality, you mean it's true that certain things come in to which you're responding with a sniffle or a sneeze.
Now, if this works, and my immune system is saying, I no longer will recognize those sharp, prickly things.
Right.
Because my mind is switched somehow or another.
Correctly. Because your mind made a mistake in the first place. And the reason that your mind made that mistake is because allergies begin at a time of stress. When you are subjected to stressors that you have a problem dealing with, your whole immune system, hundreds of millions of white blood cells, are there to protect you from non-self things, whether it be bacteria or viruses or anything else in the air that happens to come through. But there's no harm in these non-self things. There's no harm in people breathing in the pollen. There's nothing. It's not toxic. It's not snake venom. It isn't going to burn you. But when you're under stress, the immune system, the immune cells have a mind of their own. Your mind exists on a cellular level. And your immune cells look up and say, well, just to be safe, this is a non-self thing, and here we are in a time of stress, and I wonder if maybe this non-self thing is part of my feeling of stress. So what I'll do is put a mark on it, which we call an antigen-antibody thing. The antigen is the pricklies, and we put a mark on it, and in a few days our immune system, our cells, hundreds of millions of them, have formed a kind of a SWAT team which forever in the future is built to act against what you considered a potential danger.
What percent take of people who've had allergy, hay fever, whatever, using this technique, how often, what percent would it work?
Easily 85%.
Right.
And again, as with other things that the mind-body is dealing with, if a person is a complete non-believer, they won't go through the imagery process. They won't make it real for themselves.
Okay.
Or it started when they were so young that they built it into the fabric of their personality, and to change means that they have to be totally different than the self that they are.
Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to remember when I started having hay fever. It was fairly late in teenage or college.
And if we take a careful history, immediately after a person gets an allergy, for instance, if I move from here to Albuquerque, and I get to Albuquerque and all of a sudden I find I'm allergic, if we talk right then, we will each time find that a person is dealing with stressors that they're not used to dealing with.
Is this part of what's being relegated to the body concept still? Or
Exactly.
Right, okay.
Exactly, because what the mind is having a problem resolving will be relegated to the body, and the immune cells take over and do what they think they're supposed to do.
I will give you a follow-up.
No stress, no allergy.
I'll give you a follow-up to my hay fever treatment next time.
Yeah, okay.
Next year. And next time, we're going to move into the most prevalent problem going in America almost, depression, and the big discussion about placebos and depression.
Good. Good subject.
Okay.
All right.